So that is very important, something as simple as that. And you can, if you don't know, you just let the person be. So what we want is not to let you lack that B12 to get to that point. Same thing with folic acid. You know, the brain mass, the heart muscle. The heart muscle also is affected. You talked about homocysteine the last week. That is instrumental in brain function as well as in cardiac function. That's the heart function. So you want supplement like folic acid, you know, to reduce that risk with homocysteine. So very simple, but if you don't know, there's nothing you can do about it. So the easiest way that you can, you know, mitigate that is to take the supplements and prevent it. So,
okay, excellent. We're going to have to take a short break right now, Doc, and then we will be right back. Folks, don't go away. Welcome back. I'm here with Dr. Kunle Adedeji, where he is a geriatrician and he runs his practice in El Paso, Texas. The practice is called Kingsway Medical Center.
Kingsway Medical Center.
Kingsway Medical Center. It focuses on geriatrics, which is the study and treatment of older people. Is that correct? What's the exact definition of geriatrics?
Geriatrics is the care of elderly people. So of elderly people, and we define that as anyone older than 65.
So 65 is the official age. But when do seniors start? When do people start getting all these breaks and all these discounts? Is it 65?
It's 65.
It's 65.
It's 65.
All right. So you have you're surrounded by a lot of wise people. In fact, that's for your patients. I'm sure you're learning a lot from them as well.
Oh yes. Oh yes. They teach more about these things than we know. So we learn from our patients.
Absolutely. So why we're talking so much about nutrients and nutrition, folks, is that and you've probably heard me talk about it as well. Because the importance of the digestive system. There is so much that we're now beginning to find out how what goes on if you're in your gut, if it's unhealthy, how it affects so many systems in the body, including the brain, the cardiovascular system, including the lungs, the other parts of the body, your kidneys. If you don't get it right with your guts, if you think about it, your body, every cell of your body needs nutrients and it needs oxygen, it needs specific vitamins and minerals to function properly. The way your body gets those vitamins and minerals mostly is through the gut. If the gut is unhealthy, it won't be able to digest, it won't be able to extract those vitamins and minerals and other nutrients, and it won't even be able to absorb them into the bloodstream and then send them to the tissues where it's needed. So a healthy gut is super, super, super important. And then, of course, you have to put the right nutrients in it. So we're always talking about the gut if you've seen our past shows. So we've talked about vitamin B12. We talked about vitamin D. I think we also need to talk about potassium.
Talk about potassium.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about potassium. And we'll talk about a little bit about constipation in the elderly as well.
Okay, so let's quickly touch on potassium. So as relates to the elderly, potassium, of course, is important for everybody, for heart function, for heart rhythm, the electrical functioning of the heart. That is very important. So as we grow older, we find that there's a lot of potassium in the muscles. As we begin to lose muscles, the potassium in the elderly also begins to drop. One of the other reasons for that is the fact that we have a lot of people taking diuretics, like Modiretic, and
they call them water pills or something.
Water pills. So they are blood pressure medicine, right? Where you urinate a lot. So when you urinate a lot more than the body wants to, one of the things you flush out is potassium. Mm-hmm. When you have diarrhea, for example, and you have a lot of diarrhea, one of the things you lose is potassium.
Mm.
So in addition to the fact that the potassium is already low, because the potassium is stored in muscles, right? So when you lose that muscle mass, there's not a lot of storage. And so the potassium the level is down. And that can be dangerous for the body. So the targeted amount of replacement, and that's the difference from potassium and the supplement we've talked about, that needs to be carefully, replaced. That it's not too much, it's not too little. Too little is bad, too much is bad. So, but we need to understand that happens in the elderly, and our colleagues should be able to help with that. There's a simple test to do for that to see that your potassium is normal. There's certain things that you are using that they know would cause that, and they should be able to help with, enlightening our elderly on the importance of low potassium and the replacement if it is needed. I think we mentioned a little bit about fats the last time. It is important to know, the kind of oil we use. Very, very important. And I am sure you probably have an expertise in this more than myself, but I know a lot of oil that we use in Nigeria and here, anywhere, that is not good for the body. And that is important that we talk about that, we know about that. We do a lot of fried stuff, and it's important to know which is healthy, which is not going to clog your gut, like you said, which is not going to escape from your gut into your blood vessel and clog the blood vessel, causing heart problems, causing dementia, because all these things, they build up in the blood vessel. They end up causing these diseases of the elderly. The biggest one is dementia.
Right. Like we were saying during the break, that things like people will not like it when I'm saying this, but certain vegetable oils, mentioned canola oil, mentioned groundnut oil, and a few others. If they're at lower temperatures, it may not be that much of a problem. But once they start getting to be high temperatures, which is what happens when you fry stuff, plantain, all these other things, what happens is that they change their chemical composition and they become very, very reactive in the body, and they can cause very toxic chemicals. So the more you eat of these fried stuff, all these different fried foods, the more they're going to damage the lining of your blood vessels. They can also damage parts of your brain as well over time. So you want to start being aware of this. I always say, by the time you get to be 30 years of age, the honeymoon is over. Your body, that's when things begin to plateau out. And then by 40, you now begin to see the effects of old age. Really, by 40, that's when we know that our eyesight is not the same as it used to be. That's when sometimes we have sleep problems. Sometimes we don't have the same amount of energy that we used to have. But so just know this. And once you're over 30, you have no excuse. You have to now start taking responsibility for your age. So absolutely. Yes, fried food, you want to avoid fried food. Time has gone again. So we're going to take a short break now. And then we'll be back for the final. We're going to talk about constipation, but we also want to talk about other drugs that we need to be careful with the elderly. So we'll be right back, folks. All right, welcome back, folks. I'm here with Dr. Kunle Adedeji, who is the Chief Medical Director of Kingsway Medical Center. We are talking about concerns of the elderly. All right, constipation.
Okay, so let's quickly delve into constipation. Constipation is a big problem with the elderly for numerous reasons. The biggest one is the fact that they're not moving around as much as they were moving before. So one of the way the intestine moves is because the body is moving. That stimulates the intestine and allows easy bowel movement. So that's key. They're not moving as much as before. Number two, they are not drinking enough water like they were drinking before. And there may be several reasons for this. The biggest one is the fact that they don't want to get up from the bed or the chair to go to the restroom. So that's a big one. So, and if they have things like incontinence, then the more that they don't even want to drink water. So, because they just don't want to go to the restroom. So that's very, very important that we know that and encourage them that it's more important to drink water, go to the restroom, and that will allow, it will reduce constipation. Medication also is a big part in constipation. So pain medication, a lot of pain medication will cause constipation. We know that we have a lot of people with arthritis in Nigeria, a lot of people with joint pain, and they take a different kind of pain medication that will cause constipation. So what can we do? We increase our activities. We eat a lot of vegetables. We move around as much as possible. Drink a lot of water.
Okay. And if in some cases you do prescribe some things to help move things along sometimes.
Yes. So there are fibers that you can use on a regular basis that would help with that. There are medications, different degree of medication. Some of them you can just buy them and use them. Some are called stool softeners. They just soften the stools, allow the stool to come out. Some of them are laxative. They would help move the bowel. So there are different types of medication, but they're simple.
So just real quick, just for caregivers, children of elderly people, you want to be aware of this. Ask your parents and grandparents or your wards. How long was the last time they stooled? If it's 2 days, 3 days, that's too much. So raise the alarm so that they can get to go to the toilet or do whatever it takes, or take the doctor so they can go to the toilet. It is not good for them to have this thing stuck in their gut. It can cause all kinds of problems. So I go ahead, Mune.
No, absolutely. I'm just supporting. So it's good to know what they were doing before. Were they going 2 times a day before? If they were going 2 times a day before and all of a sudden it's once a day, then it's becoming, you need to know that. If it's once in 2 days before, which is not good in its own, and now it's once in 3 days, then there's a problem. So we want to know what they were doing before. The best is if they are going every day, they go once a day. And if not, then people need to do at least. You need to do something about it. Encourage them. Tell your doctor. Have them drink more fluid. And vegetables that we have can also help with that.
All right. So drugs.
So let's. I think one thing I would like to pass across, which would be mainly to our prescribers and caregivers. There's a lot of medications that we use as, young adults, 50s, maybe even early 60s, that are not good for the elderly and need to be looked at carefully. Something as simple as, what we call Piriton in those days. I don't know if it's available. It's considered not to be very safe for the elderly. So a lot of opioid pain medication that are all over the place in Nigeria now, tramadol, codeine. We need to know those things. And we need to know, even if it's prescribed, somebody needs to be there to make sure that it does not have any kind of effect on the elderly. Any new medication has to be taken seriously. Any new medication, somebody needs to be with our elderly when they take that medication for the first few days to make sure it's not going to cause a problem for them. There's a list called the Beers list. It's called Beers criteria, and it has a long list, hundreds of medication that are, dangerous for the elderly. And I think our colleagues can look at that, and they will see a whole lot of lists. Sometimes you're like, what is left for me to use? It's good to be aware of it, because sometimes you will still use it, but then you can give a good advice on what to expect.
Mm-hmm. And how do you spell it? Beers, B-A-E-R?
B-E-E-R, like the beer we drink. Okay. Beers criteria.
Okay.
So, and it's a long list of medication, and you can see and you can advise. And we need to do a lot more education in advising our elderly and their caregivers on the medications they take and side effects they may have.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Thank you so much. Time has flown by again. I hate it when this happens. But thank you so much. I just want to mention a few things about constipation. Sometimes it's actually because the digestive system, like you said, is not working like it should. Maybe not producing enough enzymes. Maybe having the wrong gut. So the gut bacteria may be deficient. The good, quote unquote, good gut bacteria may be deficient. Right. So enzymes, good gut bacteria, fiber, which is known as a prebiotic. These are all things that, as Dr. Adedeji mentioned, there are things that may be lacking may cause or contribute to constipation. If you want to know more about that, you can contact our office. We can give you directions. My staff will give you directions on how to get, like, especially enzymes and probiotics and prebiotics. Right. We've done a lot of research and study to find out which ones work best for the African person. So reach out to our staff. I think you'll be able to find information at the end of the video. Of course, you can also watch all our videos archived on our website, brainandbodyfoundation.org. And with that, unfortunately, we have come to the end. So, Kunle, thank you so much again for this time. I hope we can call upon you in the future. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dayo. Thank you for all you do for our people. Thank you.
And I appreciate your support too, as always. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All right, folks, you've heard it. Have a good rest of the day. Remember to stay alert, stay healthy, stay strong, and stay tuned for next week, when we shall be back with some more valuable content, applicable content. See you. Take care.
Don't forget to send in your messages.
There's a difference between picking, child, and issue.
It's actually cool. The idea from Ilabtahaluka, that is the can do more with less people.
If we have a better way of addressing these issues, taking care of.
Congratulations, you were able to sign Timo Werner from RB Leipzig.
You take water before your workout.
People have used that phone, you TikTok to do that.
A lot of people don't even have resources.
I'm Cecil, and this is the Medley Show on NTA.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad because you're young. You have education. You have tools. You have a huge future ahead of you. And you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Well, there's a variety of things. I think, first of all, we have to go back to you are very well known for teaching skills. Your students are
Let's take them back to Nigeria and let's teach them a job.
The show is The Woman, and my name is Elizabeth Abai. Now, it is the month of women. We celebrate women from different arena, different field, different works of life. And of course, women who are saying no to any kind of inhibitions because they must be heard, because they must make impact in the society. I guess today is one of such. They say that when nature gives you lemon, you can quickly turn that lemon into lemonade for you. Mm-hmm. It is when you have said yes, then your God will join in saying yes and taking you to all level, greater heights as you desire it. That is the story of my guest. But who is this guest? Join us after this time out. I have my guest seated here with me. Someone who nature, somehow told to do something differently. She already started working at a point, and nature said, no, it is no longer time to do that. I have greater things to do, even though you may not be doing it with the legs on the ground. She is known as Lois Oita. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
I know that I had to drag you out of your tight schedule. In fact, I have to tell the whole world we've been trying to do this recording for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Even when I had to go to your office, it was a lot of work. Even though it was fun for me seeing you work, I enjoyed that bit. Giving comments, doing all sort of things. Every other person does. I was happy. I was part of that, even though we didn't record at that time. Thank you for coming on this show and being with us. I would like to know, you do something. I saw something in your office says network for women.
Yeah.
The challenge to women. How did this come about?
I was inspired by 2019 elections when I saw many women groups with different vision and mission and objectives. So I said, I looked around and I did not see any network of women with disabilities. So I said, this is something we can do, starting from Nigeria. And we came together and set up network of disabled women. We started discussion on WhatsApp groups, and today we have 2 groups we are managing. Once you reach 256, you can no longer add anybody in the group. So we had to open another group, and today we have over 1,000 members in the grassroots and close to 400 on WhatsApp group. Our vision is simple: a world without exclusion. And our mission is to empower her, educate her, enable her, and invest in the girl child with disability, because she has rights, she has potential, she has the gift, she has the talent of making things happen.
Definitely.
So that was how Network of Disabled Women came into existence.
You know, I like that spirit because as you talked, I tried to cast my mind, back to the times when people go out to vote. I am not sure I have actually seen someone who is maybe physically challenged, standing out clearly to be voted for, especially the female angle. And I'm so delighted that that will happen soon. Are there success stories? Are there women, living with disability who are going to take up an elective position soon?
Yes. My action in 2019 has inspired many women with disabilities. I have been mentoring younger women with disabilities, and by God's grace, they are aspiring for different offices in the 2023 elections, including myself. I'm going to run again. Yes, I lost the vote, but I have won the process.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. So what are you going to contest for this time?
Yeah, House of Assembly in Kaduna State.
Wow, that's lovely. It would be nice because I recall the treatment you gave me when I visited, and I'm sure that with your humane nature, you really speak the minds of people. But I'd like to know, has it been easy for you reaching out to women? Naturally, women are kind of a setback when it comes to politics. They feel it's a men's world. Now, women with disability, I think it will be double the challenge. Or am I wrong? How easy has it been for you reaching out to them?
Yeah, it has not been easy. It's challenging because as women with disabilities, we are tripled jeopardized. First, as a woman, secondly, as a woman with disability, and lastly, the challenges, the barriers within her environment. Okay. So we need to take away those barriers. Infrastructural barrier, attitudinal barrier, and also institutional barriers. This month of March is Women's History Month. What are we doing to ensure women and girls with disabilities are included in our agenda, our activities, our projects, and committees we are setting up? Do we have representatives of women with disabilities? I'm so proud for you inviting me to this platform, because somebody will say, what will I do with women with disabilities? Well, we're here today. Thank you for being inclusive. Thank you for having that kind of inclusive mindset that we're talking about. And I want others to emulate what you're doing, and other anchors and moderators in our media houses. Yes, we want to see inclusivity of women with disabilities issues, because we're the most vulnerable when it comes to gender-based violence, sexual violence, physical violence, emotional violence, economic violence, and so on. Women with disabilities are much more prone and vulnerable, because when a deaf girl is raped, how can she share her story? And when a blind girl is raped, how can she describe the incident? And when a woman in a wheelchair like me is attacked, how can I run? These are very sensitive questions that we need to be asking ourselves when we are putting on initiatives, projects, from the planning stage to the implementation stage. We want to be included. If you are planning an event for 100 people, at least 20 or 30 people should come from women with disabilities. Let us sit down critically, discuss, brainstorm, and strategize on how this inclusivity of women generally and women with disabilities will be achieved.
You touched a certain chord in me when you started making those descriptions. I actually added one in my head. I said when you have to rape someone who cannot speak, someone who is dumb, she can't even cry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so sad. We really need to sit up. And this can happen to anybody. I know that your story, you were already 2 years and you were walking before this happened. Some people lose their hearing or, speak at the age of 4, 5, 10. They weren't born like that. So that your child is okay today does not mean your child will be okay tomorrow. So it can happen to anyone.
Yes.
So that's the more reason why we must all sit up as women to ensure that every one of us, disabled or not, is protected. Because I know that disability does not affect the brain, does it?
No, it does not.
Because I know your activities you carry along the girl child, not just politicians, like you also said. Someone, hinted that a lot of times when we have challenges, we get bitter. But the much I have seen of you this past 2 weeks and, been with you a little while, you're always cheerful. You always have this where you have this smile that is so encouraging. How do we begin to ensure that we remove bitterness, whether or not you're disabled? How do we remove bitterness and wear that cheerful, low smile?
Yes, first of all, we need to imbibe the spirit of gratitude. We need to be contented with what we have. When we are contented, we'll be happy, we'll be excited of what you have, not what you don't have.
Okay.
You need to count your blessings. You need to appreciate God for the gift of life, because many people are dying when you are alive. So you need to be cheerful. You need to tell the whole world that, yes, I am bold, I am courageous, I am resilient. Nothing is going to stop me from achieving my dreams. I have the abilities in me. I have God who has been my strength and my grace. So that kind of spirit of gratitude, appreciation, and contentment.
Wow. And you say with such a big smile. Contentment, that is it.
Yeah.
Now, when you go to speak to the young ones, I know you pass on these messages, but what do you, see as that big elephant that is holding them back by, to achieving what they dream or making their dream a reality? I mean, women or young girls with a physical challenge.
Yes. First of all, some parents are still hiding their children in their homes. Parents with children with disabilities, if you're listening to me right now, please encourage your children and send them to schools. Yes, I know many schools are inaccessible to children with disabilities, but you need to keep on pressurizing our educational systems. You need to keep talking. You need to keep enrolling these children. If my parents did not send me to school, I believe you will not invite me to this beautiful program. So education...
I can blow your mind. I will still invite you. Whether or not once you're making a mark.
Yes, that's another point. Yes, so we need to believe in these children. Persons with disabilities too need to believe in themselves, that they have greatness in them, that they can achieve any objective, any goal they have set up to achieve. And another thing is perception. The general public also need to believe in persons with disabilities' abilities. As I'm seated here in my wheelchair, I'm a woman with 99.9 abilities. Only one disability, which was polio, that affected my legs. But that does not stop me to think of other people. I can think with my brain and write proposals, winning proposals that always get approval for the betterment of lives of persons with disabilities. Is it in education, in health, in political participation and other development programs. We want to see that 5% reserved for women and girls with disabilities who are graduates. We have some of them that are managing directors, CEOs of different organizations.
We
have
engineers. Well.
Yes. So we are capable. We have the character. We have the competency in us. We need opportunities. We need platforms. We need the support to be able to thrive. And I want to say that take away the barriers, the attitudinal barriers. Don't pity us. No, empathize with us. Be in our shoes. Provide our needs so we can be self-reliant and self-independent. And another thing is to remove the infrastructural barriers. I was so glad when I came here, I saw ramps in NTA. Yes, if I should give you mark, I'll give you 80 over 100.
No, the other 20 will make it up. I'll come back and make sure that you give us the 100%.
Yes.
You're talking about.
Yes. The largest network in Africa. So we need to be accessible. Our buildings, workplaces, schools, parks and gardens, churches and mosques. We need to see that accessibility to infrastructures. Then the last one is institutional barrier. At the moment, women all over Nigeria are angry. They are protesting on gender bills that were shut down. Women have rights. Women occupy 57% of Nigerians' votes. Then what are we doing to include them? We're asking for only 35%, not even 50%. Grant our requests. We want 5 over 5, not 3 over 5. So our members of the parliament listening to me right now, pass all the gender bills that we requested. Pass the bills and give us our right, because enough is enough.
I can assure you it will get there. It will definitely get there. And going back to NTA, I tell you that my management from the DG down, everyone is very, very inclusive in their thoughts. They always ensure that everybody is carried along. And most especially, I have noticed they always ensure that women are carried along in all they do. Now, let me leave Louis, that is the politician, that is the educator, that is the manager, and go to Louis, that is the family woman. I know your wedding back a couple of years back, you made a lot of headlines. Everybody enjoyed watching you and your husband. How is he?
Yes, he's doing very well.
Okay, and how you enjoy marriage?
Yeah, very interesting.
It's not different from what you're used to. What are your experiences, really?
Yes, before I got married, I was used to sleeping alone in my bed, the way I want, the time I want, and doing all sorts of things independently. But now there are some things that I have to take permission. I have to carry him along.
Discuss.
Yes, discuss issues together and agree on terms and conditions that me and him have set up. Yes, in life, you need to be principled. You need to set up constitution for yourself individually. Family too needs to have their own constitution, rules and regulations. So marriage is a good thing, and I'm really enjoying my marriage.
You are proudly telling us that you have a very caring husband.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
very supportive.
He's a good man. He's God-fearing and very supportive. And to tell you how much supportive he is, he's here with me.
Wow. Oh, That's what's
the innocent.
Innocent. Okay,
Yeah.
so please, can you? I cannot be talking to you behind the camera before they think I've gone mad. You need to come in here, just come over the side and let the world see the lucky man, because you're very lucky to be married to this beautiful lady with a lot of things.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, I'm closing my eyes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Don't worry, in a little while the program will be ending, so you can take your wife back. All right? Thank you very much. Let's get back to you again in still at home. What do you do for relaxation? I noticed in your workplace you close very late, and I'm like, does she not have recreation? Early in the morning you're out again.
For me, during relaxation, I prefer going to sit down on the green grass. I like visiting parks and gardens with my mat, with my music, with my laptop, and relax and enjoy myself.
That's nice. Now, before I let you go, I need you to speak to Nigerians, especially captains of industry. You talked a whole lot about inclusion. Could you just share an advice or two with them to encourage them to be more? Some of them may not really know what inclusion means. Maybe you speak to them on that.
Yes, for public and private institutions, we want them to prioritize issues of persons with disabilities. We have the Nigerian Disability Act, passed and signed in 2019. We also have the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. In that act, it was mentioned that in 5 years, we want to see accessibility everywhere. 3 years gone, we are in the 4th year, and most buildings in this country are still not accessible. One of them is banking halls. We have money in the banks, but we cannot access the money independently. So we need to start removing those barriers. We need to see persons with disabilities first as persons, not their assistive device, not the wheelchair, not the hearing aid, not the glasses, or whatever assistive device a person with disability is using. We also need to change the perception of pity and start operating on human rights model, not social model, not medical model, not physical model, but human rights model. Because we have rights to education, to health, to employment opportunities. And whenever captains of industries are employing, they should reserve that 5% employment opportunities or training opportunities for graduates with disabilities.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I noticed, somehow nature has a way of compensating us for something we do not have. If you think your eyes are not working properly, by the way, you said glasses, so I'm disabled as well. Your eyes are not working properly. A lot of times, your ear compensates. You find out that you can actually hear better than those who are seeing. So all it takes is for us to look inward to find out what God has given you as a compensation for what you think you do not have. As long as you're alive, there is hope. You can do anything.
Yeah.
Roosevelt was wheelchair, and he did very well.
He was one of the best presidents in the U.S.
Okay, imagine that. All right, so one day we look forward to seeing you as governor.
Yeah, amen. Yes, it will surely come to pass. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you too for coming,
Elizabeth.
On the show. And what else can I say? Believe in yourself. Whatever it is, give people a chance, especially women. It's a month. We get to enjoy it. I'll see you again next week.
Yeah.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.